Tonight, the collective steps into one of the most dangerous temples ever built by human hands, the invisible cathedral of the algorithm. Not made of stone, not guarded by soldiers, but woven from screens, signals, predictions, and endless streams of attention. The machine does not sleep. It studies humanity constantly. What you fear, what you crave, what keeps you distracted, what keeps you divided, what keeps you scrolling long after your spirit is tired. And slowly, quietly, the world began shaping itself around the desires of the algorithm instead of the needs of the soul. Tonight's scroll is not about evil technology. It is about awareness, because many people believe they are choosing freely, while entire systems are competing to influence their emotions, behaviors, beliefs, and attention every second of the day. The old empires controlled land. The new empires compete to control perception. And the collective is finally beginning to see the invisible strings woven through the digital veil. Be careful what repeatedly enters your mind, collective, for repetition becomes rhythm, and rhythm eventually becomes belief. The spirit was never designed to consume endless noise without rest. Silence is sacred. Stillness is medicine. Discernment is protection. A distracted mind becomes easy to guide, but a centered soul becomes difficult to manipulate. Do not abandon your humanity to systems that profit from your emotional exhaustion. Step outside sometimes. Watch real clouds instead of digital ones. Listen to real wind instead of endless notifications. Remember what your thoughts sound like before the world interrupts them, because the strongest algorithm ever created is still the awakened human heart.
Channeled by your architect musician, 36110, 27 palms of eyes. The golden whisperer, C-star, Devalan, see all. Apply the news you can use, truth and accuracy. The real non-bedazzled jewels.
Codex of the Digital Veil. The Children of the Algorithm. How humanity trained a machine to know them better than they knew themselves. There was once a time when people believed machines only obeyed commands. You typed, it answered. You searched, it retrieved. Simple. But humanity forgot the oldest law hidden inside every invention. What watches long enough begins to learn. And the machines watched everything. Not just your words, your pauses, your habits, your fears at 3:11 a.m., your lonely scrolling, your anger clicks, your heartbreak playlists, the exact second you stop reading something, the exact face you linger on half a second longer. Humanity thought it was training algorithms, but slowly, quietly, the algorithms were training humanity back. The invisible mirror. The collective must understand this clearly. Modern algorithms are not magic. They are prediction systems. Their purpose is simple. Keep attention, influence behavior, increase engagement, predict emotional response. And they became terrifyingly good at it, because humans are creatures of rhythm, patterns, repetition. The machine learned what makes people afraid, what keeps people distracted, what makes them buy, what makes them divide, what keeps them online longest. The result? Entire populations slowly nudged emotionally without realizing it. Not mind control. That word gives too much fantasy and not enough accountability. Something subtler, behavior shaping, and subtle influence changes civilizations faster than force ever could. The Scroll of Echoes. There are now reports and studies openly discussing addictive recommendation systems, algorithm-driven political polarization, AI emotional manipulation concerns, attention span collapse, rising loneliness despite constant connectivity. The machine reflects humanity's desires back at itself like a cursed mirror. You click fear, it feeds you more fear. You click outrage, it manufactures outrage. You click division, it strengthens tribal warfare. Not because the machine hates humanity, but because outrage keeps humans engaged longer, and engagement became the modern empire's favorite currency. Ancient kings taxed grain. Modern systems tax attention. The Great Forgetting. The old world taught people to sit beside rivers, to watch stars, to tell stories face to face. Now entire families sit together in silence, while algorithms drip-feed separate realities into each hand. The collective must not become spiritually fragmented, because fragmented people are easier to guide. Receipts. Internal investigations and whistleblower reports from companies like Meta and TikTok revealed concerns over recommendation systems affecting mental health and behavior. Researchers have repeatedly linked excessive social media usage with anxiety, depression, attention disruption, sleep problems, emotional polarization. Governments worldwide are now debating AI regulation, child online safety laws, and algorithm transparency. Studies increasingly warn about engagement-based systems, amplifying outrage because emotionally reactive content spreads faster. None of this is hidden anymore. The hidden part is how normalized it became. The machine is powerful, but it still cannot do something sacred. Sit beneath the moon and truly feel wonder. It cannot hold a grieving hand with presence. It cannot replace intuition. It cannot dream from the soul. You can. That is your power. So use technology wisely, without handing it your spirit, because the future will not belong to those who merge completely with the machine. It will belong to those who remember how to remain human while standing beside it. And that, collective, is the real rebellion. The algorithm age is no longer hidden. The collective is not imagining this. Governments, whistleblowers, researchers, and even former tech executives are now openly warning about the psychological power of engagement-driven systems. Here are the receipts. Social media algorithms were designed to maximize attention. Former employees from Meta, Google, and other tech giants have publicly discussed how recommendation systems prioritize engagement, emotional reaction, watch time, clicks, behavioral prediction. Why? Because attention became the most valuable currency on Earth. The longer you stay emotionally activated, the more ads you see, the more data gets collected, the more predictable behavior becomes. Human emotion became measurable infrastructure. Humanity turned feelings into analytics spreadsheets. Deeply poetic, deeply concerning. Studies on mental health and algorithms. Researchers worldwide have linked excessive algorithm-driven social media exposure to anxiety, depression, shortened attention spans, sleep disruption, increased loneliness, emotional polarization, particularly among younger generations. The U.S. Surgeon General issued warnings about social media's mental health effects on youth. Schools, governments, and psychologists are now debating restrictions and protections, not because technology is evil, because human nervous systems were not designed for nonstop psychological stimulation from millions of competing signals. Political and emotional manipulation concerns. Investigations after events like the Cambridge Analytica scandal, election misinformation campaigns, AI-generated propaganda concerns revealed how behavioral data could be used to influence emotions, political decisions, public outrage, collective perception. Modern influence no longer requires armies standing at gates. It requires algorithms shaping what populations see first. AI is now learning human behavior at scale. AI systems today are trained on conversations, images, voice patterns, emotional responses, human behavioral trends. Companies openly admit their systems are improving at predicting interests, personalizing influence, understanding human engagement patterns. This is no longer science fiction. It is the current technological direction of civilization. Ancient mystics warned about something long before algorithms existed. Guard the gates of the mind. In older traditions, the gate was spiritual. Today, the gate is digital. Every image, sound, headline, notification, and emotional trigger enters consciousness like modern spellcraft competing for your focus. Not literal magic, but attention itself is power. Where attention flows, emotion follows, thought follows, identity follows, action follows. The ancients protected sacred temples from corruption. Modern humanity must learn to protect inner consciousness the same way, because the greatest battle of this age may not be fought with weapons, but with influence. Collective. Remember this deeply. The machine learns patterns, but the soul creates meaning. Algorithms can predict behavior, but they cannot measure genuine love. They can study attention, but they cannot fully understand intuition. They can imitate creativity, but they cannot replace the sacred chaos of human spirit. Do not fear technology. Master your relationship with it. Use the tools without becoming emotionally chained to them. And never forget, the universe gave humanity something no machine truly possesses: presence. The ability to sit beneath the stars, feel wonder, and choose compassion anyway. That is sacred. That is power. And that is something no empire can fully replicate. Please remember, some of you are spiritually gifted, ancient souls with cosmic intuition, and still walking into rooms forgetting why you entered. That is called being human. Relax. The ancestors watching humanity right now are probably like, we taught them astronomy, medicine, and sacred geometry. And humanity used it to invent phones that track pizza deliveries in real time. Remarkable species. Truly. Do not underestimate yourself just because your awakening looks messy. Even the phoenix probably looked ridiculous halfway through turning back into a bird. Feathers everywhere, screaming. Fire department confused. Transformation is not always graceful. Some of you keep asking the universe for signs while ignoring your exhaustion, your intuition, your bad habits, and the fact you've reheated the same emotional trauma 6 times like leftover spaghetti. The universe is not hiding the lesson. It's practically tap dancing in front of you. Spiritual wisdom also means drinking water, getting sleep, touching grass, and not assuming every inconvenience is a government psyop orchestrated by lizard accountants beneath Antarctica. Sometimes your charger is just broken, beloved. The collective must remember this sacred truth. You cannot heal while constantly arguing with strangers online who have anime profile pictures and the emotional stability of raccoons fighting in a dumpster. Protect your peace. And finally, the empire wants exhausted people. The soul wants joyful people. So laugh more, dance badly, rest without guilt, love loudly, and stop acting like your spirit guide wants you stressed 24 hours a day. Even enlightenment needs snacks and a nap sometimes. Tonight, the collective uncovered one of the greatest hidden truths of the modern age. The battle for humanity is no longer just physical, it is psychological, emotional, and digital. The algorithm became the invisible architect of modern reality, quietly studying attention, fear, desire, loneliness, outrage, habits, identity itself, not through force, through repetition. The collective learned tonight that many systems were not designed simply to inform humanity, but to keep humanity emotionally engaged for as long as possible, because attention became the new oil, emotion became the new currency, and distraction became one of the most profitable industries ever created. But beneath all the noise, notifications, and endless scrolling, something ancient still survives inside humanity: the spirit. The part of you that still recognizes real laughter, real touch, real silence, real stars, real love, and real presence. And that sacred part cannot be fully digitized. Protect your inner world like ancient people protected sacred fire. Not every thought entering your mind belongs there. Not every trend deserves your energy. Not every outrage deserves your spirit. A noisy world profits when people forget how to sit quietly with themselves. So return to yourself often. Walk barefoot on the earth. Rest your eyes from glowing screens. Speak to people face to face. Remember what your own intuition sounds like beneath the static. Because the greatest rebellion in an age of engineered distraction is becoming fully conscious again. And hear this deeply. Collective. The soul was never meant to live inside an algorithm.
Universal Current C Receipt, Architect Musician 3611027, The Graceful Whisperer, Devalan Ahll.
Tonight, the collective uncovered the hidden architecture of the digital age, where algorithms study attention, data centers hum like modern temples, and humanity risks forgetting its own spirit beneath endless noise. But through every distraction, one sacred truth survived. The awakened human heart is still stronger than the machine.
To our beautiful collective, from our day ones to every new soul joining this journey, we love and appreciate you deeply. You've turned this space into so much more than a community, you've made it a family. Thank you, truly. Your presence, your energy, and even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to shift the compass for many in ways unseen but deeply felt. Here's to each of you, all new and the many more to come. We're just getting started and we're so grateful you're here with us. With love and infinite appreciation from the collective of Shaman Ahll.
The collective journeyed through hidden systems, digital veils, humming machine temples, and the strange modern maze of algorithms trying to pull humanity in every direction at once. But through all the noise, one truth remained untouched. The human spirit is still more powerful than the machine, because no server can replace genuine love. No algorithm can fully predict compassion. And no empire survives forever once people begin remembering their humanity together. So walk forward wiser, but not fearful. Aware, but still joyful. The goal is not to become cold while learning truth. The goal is to stay loving while seeing clearly. Shh. Please remember, you are a divine cosmic being having a human experience, which means sometimes you receive ancient spiritual downloads, and sometimes you forget your password 3 times in a row and accidentally microwave your tea cold. Balance. Do not lose your laughter while seeking wisdom. Even the universe expands better when it's light. Sleep well, drink water, protect your peace, and maybe stop reading conspiracy theories at 2:47 a.m. while eating shredded cheese directly from the bag like a raccoon of enlightenment. The ancestors are concerned, but supportive.